Hello. Thank you for calling. Your call is important to us. We regret to inform you that we will be unable to connect you to a customer service representative at this time. We hope you understand that this is not a customer service telephone number. This is vaguely scientific. Hey gang, I'm Derek. Totally tubular to be here. And joining me as always, ruh-roh, it's Jim. Cowabunga, Jim.
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Zoinks! We have one shell of a guest this week. Welcome back, Jonathan.
Jinkies, it's great to be here.
Oh, nice.
It's funny because I have the copy up and I'm like reading along, but it didn't hit me until you read it out loud what was happening.
Oh, it's very... Oh, I don't know. It's going to make people angry, probably.
It didn't make me angry. I just was like, wait, I don't have anything for this because it's not what I thought.
I wasn't prepared.
I was not prepared for this. Well, fortunately, we are prepared to record the show where we answer the most ridiculous audience-submitted questions in a manner that we like to call vaguely scientific. Oh, but before we do that, we should probably do the fun science fact of the day. Jim?
Yeah, I found this out recently because I was chewing some gum and I was like, this is interesting. I found out that mint makes our mouths feel cold for basically the same reason that capsaicin makes our mouth hot. Menthol is tricking your brain into thinking your tongue is cold.
Is that how capsaicin works?
Well, it sort of like makes you think your mouth is hot or like it's setting off like those receptors, but it's not actually hot.
It's not
unless
temperature
you, like,
hot.
have extremely like right out of the oven chicken wings, which that would be like the double whammy, I suppose.
Yeah. It's not just because it's acidic and burning you.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. I want some gum.
I do too.
Gum. I'm on cough drops, so there's that.
Oh, are you? Are you sick?
Oh.
I don't know why. It feels like every time I go to record with you guys, I'm sick.
It's been a lot of the sick going around.
I mean, yeah.
Next time that you're going to be the guest, I'm just going to consciously skip you, and hopefully we'll get on the right track where you're not sick.
Okay.
I can't afford to skip you. You're only on like once a year.
Yeah, fair.
I guess we should move on to our questions this week, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're here. So question 1 this week comes to us from Dean. How do the Ninja Turtles live on pizza and soda pop?
I mean,
they're teenagers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're making choices now that will lead to long-term problems later,
like diabetes.
Like the diabetes.
This is not something I looked up, and I'm gonna have to Google it now. If turtles have pancreases.
Oh, interesting. So, the first thing that I wanted to bring up, I remember I grew up watching the.
It does, by the way.
Okay.
What? Turtles have pancreases.
Oh, turtles do have pancreas. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
They might really like the song Pancreas by Weird Al then.
True.
Is the prerequisite for liking that song just having a pancreas?
I would think. Otherwise, it's just foreign subject matter.
I don't relate to these lyrics. Well, I went and I found a list of... This is not a comprehensive list, but it is a sample of many of the pizzas ordered in the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon. And so I'm going to go through a few of them, but like I'll make a point in a moment. But so I'm just going to read down the list here. We've got licorice granola.
Ugh.
We've got extra garlic and chocolate fudge.
Ugh. It was almost good.
We've got pepperoni and marshmallow.
Mm-hmm.
We've got peanut butter clam.
Oh, jeez.
We've got peanut butter, avocado, extra pickles.
They just keep getting worse.
We've got marshmallow, asparagus.
Ugh.
I'm going to do a few more here. We got butterscotch, onions, and anchovies.
Ugh.
We've got tea and toast.
Okay.
And the last one I'm going to read off this list is chocolate chip.
I want to
pizza.
know how tea and
Okay.
toast works. Like, is it just damp pizza?
The picture appears to be like tea leaves.
Okay.
Interesting.
And like little pieces of toast. But so the reason that I wanted to bring this up, because these things, aside from anchovies, sound mostly gross to have on pizza. But I like anchovies. I know nobody else does, but I do.
They're fine.
I mean, garlic goes on a pizza.
Garlic
Yeah.
goes on a pizza. Yeah, and I think they listed pepperoni and
There was an effort.
peanut butter is actually the most commonly ordered topping in that series. I learned
Weird.
they combine a lot of things with peanut butter.
This feels really weird for me now because I used to put peanut butter on pizza a lot, and I always got made fun of.
Oh, I've never tried it.
It's not bad. It really isn't. Don't put it on something weird like onions and olives. That would just be bad. But like
Or peanut butter clam. You
or
don't think?
peanut butter clam, that's a fair point as well.
Mm.
Well, the reason that I wanted to look this up, because I think when they were making this, the writers were just trying to think of what's the most gross thing,
Right.
right? And that, but turtles are omnivorous, so they'll and they're pretty happy to eat just whatever they can get. But something about how do they live on pizza? Well, if you look at the kinds of pizza they're ordering,
Mhm.
they're actually ordering a pretty wide variety of different food on top of the pizza. So
True.
I feel like there's a diverse bit of nutrients they're getting.
I mean, it's not the best way to get those nutrients, but that is exactly where I was going with it too. Is that like
Okay.
they get so much random stuff on the pizza that like
Yeah.
that's where they get their nutrients.
I think it's interesting because, like, a turtle isn't going to have the same taste buds as a human.
Sure.
And
Right.
because I was thinking, like, oh, these all sound abysmal. But maybe a turtle would like that. I don't know. Because as a human, maybe I wouldn't want, like, chocolate chip extra clams or whatever. Peanut butter and clam is whatever. But, like,
I like that the chocolate chip one was just chocolate chip.
yeah. I mean, I've had a chocolate chip cookie pizza, so
Oh,
those are
interesting.
good. It's not the same as a pizza, but I don't know. I think that it's a big part of it also is not only are they turtles, so their taste buds might be different, but they're also mutant turtles.
They're also
There
mutant
we go.
turtles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can eat whatever.
Well, that's not the issue. I just meant like the nasty food. Maybe their taste
Oh,
buds are just mutated and deformed, and
Well, in the 2012 Nickelodeon series, in the pilot episode, before they make their first outing onto the surface, they are shown eating algae and worms in the sewer before they discover a discarded box of pizza on a rooftop, which Michelangelo tries, and then his brain explodes.
and that's how they became mutants.
And
They
that's-
ate pizza
well-
for the first time.
Well, they were already mutants,
Oh.
but in that series, there's a lot less of a heavy emphasis on them eating pizza all the time, but it's referenced a lot. For example, they go to a sushi restaurant and a guy makes them pizza gyoza.
Oh.
So like there are pizza themed things.
Yeah. So I have a friend who really liked that Ninja Turtle show, and he made pizza gyoza, and it was actually quite good.
Nice. That was a good show. As a Ninja Turtles fan, that was like
Yeah. I watched like the first half of the first season, and then just other things came up, and I didn't get around to finishing it, but I want to because it was good.
it was like really well. Now I knew a lot of people that hated it because it was new and different, but I actually thought it was a really well written adaptation of the Turtles story, and I like writing, so I like a good story.
Yeah, I know. I remember that one being a pretty good show, and the animation style I thought was also pretty neat. Like it's different, but it's not bad.
I think I'm glad that it was cartoonish, because if it was just trying to be like, because it was CGI, and a lot of times people will do CGI because it's easier and it'll just
Mhm.
look worse than 2D animation, but like they made it a distinct style.
Yeah. So the other thing that I was thinking about with the pizza is that just a regular pizza is very, very high in calories.
Ah,
So these turtles are ninjas, and they're doing all kinds of flipping and fighting and combat, and they're burning a lot of calories out there in the mean
Yeah.
streets. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I thought about that because I looked up. I don't know a lot about exercise science. But I do know that I've heard of carbo loading. So I looked up like what positive effects that would actually have, and because if you're going to eat pizza all the time, you're eating a lot of bread.
Yeah.
Like there's other stuff on it, but like it's a lot of bread.
Yeah.
And so I know that in particular, probably Sierra is going to be mad at me because I just don't know anything about this. But I read that according to most research, carbo loading may reduce fatigue and improve performance by about 2 to 3% for exercise lasting more than 90 minutes if it is not like short duration and short bursts of activity like weight training. So I'm thinking the turtles are training quite a lot and they're doing combat and acrobatics. So that could possibly help.
Yeah.
So now I also start to wonder if that was intentional or if that was just like, hey, let's throw pizza in because the kids like pizza. But
I think we are definitely retroactively making this work.
But it works really well, though, because it makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense that like they're doing constant activity of like fighting villains, fighting the Foot Clan, and that they would need that sustained energy from carbo loading.
Yeah. So, I mean, the kind of exercise they're doing definitely makes it up for it. We're also talking about like cold-blooded animals that probably have the different kind of muscle than us.
And also
True.
really curious how their metabolism would work, too, being cold-blooded.
Yeah. You know, because they're mutants, are we sure they are still cold-blooded?
I actually think in one of the comics that I read, they mentioned that the mutation made them adapt to be warm-blooded. But I doubt that's like canonical across the board.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, there are many, many turtle iterations.
Right. But like they could absolutely have mutated because the way the mutagen works seems to be consistently they fuse DNA with the last creature they handled. So the turtles mutated into more humanoid creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So like they could have turned warm-blooded.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very big possibility. And if you are warm-blooded, you need these calories to then keep yourself at the correct body temperature. So
That's true.
and we also have to not forget the question does ask about soda. Now,
True.
I would think soda would be far worse for them than the pizza.
Probably.
Because it is just sugar water. And to me, I would think that would also be problematic for their digestive system because it is a lot of carbonation. And so they're going to be gassy, they're going to be burpy. And you don't want to be gassy and burpy when you're doing like cool ninja flips. You know what I mean?
Oh, I gotta Google something really quick.
Oh, no. That's a frightening thing to hear when I said something so stupid.
I just wanted to verify that tortoises and turtles do in fact fart.
I mean, they're mutants. We can have them do what they want to do.
So now my other question with the soda pop part of it is it just anything in a can or like specifically Mountain Dew, Coke, Pepsi?
I don't know that. I think it was always some sort of off-brand thing.
RC Cola.
Yeah, because they were 90s like they were a marketing marvel, so I feel like their name was on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that so I forgot to look into this, but I remember the pizza being distinctly mentioned in every TV show and movie that the Turtles have ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't think of a specific example of them advertising any sort of soda pop. but I'm sure it must have happened.
Now that I'm thinking on that as well, I don't really remember other than like maybe a blue can, but like a lot of pop cans are blue. I would think that most people would think of Pepsi seeing that, but like RC Cola's blue as well, and
Right.
Bubba Cola from like Aldi's or wherever. But then again, those are all probably trying to imitate Pepsi anyway, so.
True.
That's true. Yeah, most colas are either Coca-Cola or Pepsi.
Yeah. Except Real Doctor.
Except for Real Doctor. That's an attempt to be Dr. Pepper. The best soda pop.
The other thing about the soda pop that I was thinking about is just like, what is it doing to turtles have teeth. And so I assume they must have to brush these teeth now as...
Do turtles have teeth?
I think that Ninja Turtles specifically do have teeth.
I think the Ninja Turtles...
I feel like I've seen that.
They usually are depicted with teeth.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So whether or not real turtles have teeth is not as important, I suppose.
It's not... Yeah. But the Ninja Turtles, you're right. They would have to... They'd have to brush their teeth.
Yeah. All the positives that I feel like we could say about the pizza, I feel like is counterweighted by all the negatives I could say about soda pop.
I think maybe if they were more insectoid creatures, they might get more out of soda, because then they'd want sugar water.
Yeah. Again, though, I mean, they are burning a lot of calories. So
It's true. Now, the other rabbit hole that I was thinking about...
Usagi Yojimbo?
That is another good point.
It's
I do
a rabbit.
remember.
I don't know.
Yes, I do remember my brother having toys of him. But anyway, another. No, you're fine. How would he fare on all the pizza? Okay, different rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole. Stay on track. One tangent at a time.
Yeah.
What if the ooze that changed them made the teeth, not normal teeth like ours, but what?
Ooh,
so
mutant teeth.
So mutant teeth. I know that horrifying image is there. What material could the teeth be made of that they wouldn't need to brush their teeth?
What are permadentures made out of?
Titanium.
They have titanium teeth.
I think ceramic.
Oh, interesting.
That wouldn't be an organic structure then. Maybe they have... Oh, we talked about several episodes ago. There are some animals that just keep growing teeth.
Right.
Oh, true.
So like they could maybe lose their teeth and then grow new ones.
That's a very good point.
A variety of dental materials, including acrylic, nylon, porcelain, resin, or metal, are what dentures are made of.
So probably not something that would naturally grow out of a
Right. Maybe their teeth are just made of pizza.
I mean, that would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. Well, because I'm thinking if it's like pizza that has been compacted into like... like a rock, basically.
Extremely dense, petrified pizza.
Yeah, extremely dense, petrified pizza. And I was thinking not quite as dense as like a white dwarf, but like compacted into like a really, really dense ball.
Not enough to warp space-time, but enough to eat pizza.
Exactly.
Enough to just withstand sugar, is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really got to do. Or I guess if your teeth are just made of some kind of inert material, but like that's a less fun answer than white dwarf teeth.
Yes.
Interesting. So there's one more thing I wanted to mention, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were originally inspired by red-eared sliders, which is a species of turtle. And this is actually in the original comic. On the cover art, they were all their bandanas were red, and the red bandanas were an allusion to the fact that the red-eared slider has like these red markings behind its eyes. Now, in different incarnations of the turtles, namely in the 2018 series, they were all modeled. Each of the turtles was modeled after a different species, which is a little silly because they're supposed to be biological siblings, but not important. But so because of that, I looked up the diet of red-eared sliders. And so when they hatch from eggs, they are mainly carnivorous because they take a lot of protein to grow. And so they eat things like small fish and decaying materials such as dead fish and frogs.
Oh, like anchovies.
Like anchovies, yeah. So the turtles would absolutely like anchovies on pizza. But as they get older and they don't need that protein as much, they start to become more herbivorous. They become herbivores.
They like to eat plants.
Yeah. So but something I found interesting, and this is, of course, the turtles are mutants, so this doesn't necessarily apply, but if you have, say, a pet red-eared slider, they have to eat in the water because their tongues can't move freely in their mouth, so they need the water, like the fluidity of the water, to help move stuff around in their mouths.
Weird.
And I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Huh.
And then in 1980, the popularity of keeping red-eared sliders as pets skyrocketed.
There we go.
Because of the Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting just learning about the carbo loading and ninja training might actually work.
Right.
No, that's interesting to me because, I mean, they are very active. If you watch an episode of the Turtles, like, even when they're just hanging out around the turtle lair, whatever, the sewer? I don't know.
The sewer, yeah.
When they're hanging in the Hall of Turtles.
The Hall of
Turtles.
Turtle Tower.
Yeah, they're always doing something, whether like it's like playing video games and like standing upside down on the couch because they're mad, or I don't know. They're busy boys.
I mean, especially back in like the 90s, they were always like roller skating and skateboarding and stuff, and they still kind of try to do that.
Yeah.
They try to make them active teenagers.
Yeah. Though now all I can think of is back at Stately Turtle Tunnels.
Back at Stately Turtle.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Turtles.
Get the canary yellow phone and call April O'Neil. This is going to turn into Adam West Batman real fast. Well, now is the moment that we've all been waiting for, because my dumb intro segment when I introduced all of us is going to make a little bit more sense. Question
50% more sense.
50% more sense. Yeah. Question 2 this week comes to us from Justin. Are there any Scooby Doo gags that are actually physically possible?
I remember.
Okay.
As a child, your brother ate a dog biscuit.
I feel like a lot of us have tried dog biscuits.
I mean, that's probably very true. I mean, I didn't have a dog, so
you wouldn't have had the biscuits.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you were curious. Why does he like it so much?
Yeah.
They smell terrible. I can't imagine.
Depends on the brand, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
They taste. If I recall, it has been a long time, but if I recall, they didn't taste really like anything, and they were just really dry biscuits.
So, on a completely different tangent, animals do have different taste buds than us and whatnot. Is obvious. It seems obvious, but I do not understand how my cats eat half the things they do and like want half the things that we eat. And it's really weird, but like on that same argument, like they don't really have taste buds.
Mm-hmm. Right. Cats taste protein.
Yeah. Then why do they want my popcorn so bad?
Because you're eating it and it's not theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably that.
Well, on a similar jokey vein, I suppose, one of the gags that I remember happening commonly in Scooby Doo is whenever Shaggy would make a sandwich and go to eat it, Scooby would just reach in and just take a big old chomp.
Just like in real life, how dogs do that.
And
that's fair.
I have very fond memories of having guests at my house when I still had a dog, because my dog, when he got older, stopped begging and just got very bold. So if you were just sitting idly on my couch and holding food, he would just walk up and take it. And it's his now, and it was your fault.
It's his. I mean, that's fair.
Yep. And so I'm like, that's a good dog.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was going through. I only went through Scooby Doo. Where Are You?
Okay.
But I went through like all the episodes, like a list of episodes, because I know them very well. I watched them nonstop as a child.
Okay.
But I was like thinking, oh, what are some of the weird things that happen in these episodes, and like what's realistic? It's like I was surprised as I was thinking back. It's like there aren't that many like of the big set pieces in the episodes that are real. Like it's a pretty cartoony show, which
Right.
surprised me a little bit for how everything ended up just being a guy in a costume.
Yeah, I remember, I think probably the most famous one, if this is in line with what we're talking about, is the hallway with a bunch of doors.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody running through one door and then coming out of another one and then like crisscrossing back and forth.
Yeah.
At least that's the first one that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That one is, I do think of that one a lot. The other one I think of a lot too is my wife absolutely loves Scooby Doo. So anything Scooby Doo. So I immediately went to her and was like, what? What? And she gave me a couple ideas and a couple recommendations. Like, here's this skit. And the one she pointed out, I was like, oh, I can't believe I forgot that one, was the one where Scooby's in the boat and he takes the knife out and he cuts the fog and eats it like a donut.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, man.
And so now anytime that's like really foggy, I always like think of like trying to cut it with a knife like Scooby did.
Yeah. Well, so far we've listed things that probably wouldn't be classified as physically possible.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention on that vein, it's similar to the doors, the hallway doors, but I saw a clip and I couldn't tell you which episode this is from, but there's like a cabinet with a bunch of drawers and Shaggy jumps into them and like the monster's opening all these drawers and Shaggy keeps like sticking his head out of different drawers. And while that's an inherently cartoony concept, that's like something you could actually build into like a stage magic kind of routine. And that really just kind of made me think, I mean, they've done a lot of like live action adaptations of Scooby Doo, but I kind of think it might be neat to do like a stage version of Scooby Doo, but keep it cartoony. And
there was so the main reason I don't think this would work is because I would think it'd be pretty obvious to a normal person, like in a non-cartoon world, that these things were puppets. But there was an episode of it was in the original series of this of the Where Are You variety. It was they were like in a stage, and the guy was like just a puppet master controlling these human-sized puppets that would jump out and like attack them and whatnot. And that is not too unrealistic, except you'd figure out pretty quickly that they're puppets and not actual people like coming after you.
Right.
But it was neat kind of seeing them run around a theater, because that was kind of neat. There was like a prompter's box and there was like a little trapdoor on the stage and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Trying to think of some of the other gags from the show. Another one that I thought of that's unfortunately not possible is Shaggy sitting on Scooby and then revving his ears like a motorcycle and taking off.
That's fun.
I would love to know how heavy Scooby is, because I was just, when you started saying that, I was like, oh, all the times that Shaggy is carrying Scooby and running at full speed.
Yeah.
Guy must be ripped.
I bet there's 70 pounds.
Jeez, I can't lift 70 pounds.
Because Scooby is supposed to be a Great Dane.
He's a Great Dane. That's a big dog.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of, as far as like the traps themselves, while many of the trap gags are Rube Goldberg machines and very implausible, the fact that almost without fail they always go wrong is pretty realistic. It's almost impossible to get a Rube Goldberg machine to work. So
in the fact that it's unrealistically not working is actually realistic.
Yeah. The events of the show could happen.
Yeah.
Fun side trivia for Shaggy. Do we know his real name?
I do.
Yeah. Most people don't, and I always find it interesting.
They mention it a lot in a pup named Scooby Doo, if I recall correctly.
Oh, do they?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I think they mention it here and there in Mystery Incorporated, too.
Okay. I know the original, they like very rarely said it.
I think it was like there's at least one episode where they like find out what his name is or something.
Yeah.
I like that none of us have said it.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to just not say it now.
We're not going to say it.
Okay. We're not.
Audience, you got to go look it up.
Some slight homework that's actually fun.
Yeah, let us know if you know Shaggy's real name.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, so I wanna take a left turn here.
Okay.
Give you kind of maybe a controversial answer to this question, or maybe a stupid answer to this question. One of those. Could be both. Who knows? But my argument is going to be that everything that happens in Scooby Doo is physically possible. Now let me explain, because Scooby Doo takes place in a cartoon world. And cartoon physics or animation physics work differently than real world physics. And I know Jim's mad, but I have more to say.
I didn't know I was mad.
I'm kidding. I just
It made sense to me. I follow.
I always project on you. So I want to reference Mark O'Donnell. Someone who wrote I guess this was an article that appeared in Esquire in 1980. It was called O'Donnell's Laws of Cartoon Motion. And it was reprinted in 1994 in the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Journal, which actually made it kind of a popular joke to share in the tech community. And I would like to share just a few examples of the laws of motion from this. I just picked 3 that I thought were fun. Any body suspended in space will remain suspended in space until made aware of its situation.
Oh, interesting.
And the second one, a body passing through solid matter will leave a perforation conforming to its perimeter, also called the silhouette of passage. And the last one that I think is just my favorite, all principles of gravity are negated by fear.
I feel like they use that one a lot in Scooby.
Yeah.
I liked how brief that one was, so I picked it. But this was just a rabbit hole I wanted to go down and bring up, because the idea that cartoons specifically behave differently from like real world, but not randomly, like there are still rules, is actually a recurring thing throughout like animation history. And Walt Disney called this principle the plausible impossible. And that was drawn from the idea that like drawings in animation can make impossible things such as dragons or fictional creatures in ancient mythologies seem like they could be real. So they still kind of follow some kind of logic. And so this is kind of expanded on in what is called the humor principle from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, in which toons or cartoon people, are allowed to bend or break natural laws for the purposes of comedy. However, doing this is extremely tricky. So toons are born with an innate sense of comedic timing, giving them an inherently funny property. An example for this is kind of an old movie now, but like in the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there's a scene where Roger Rabbit and the main guy are handcuffed together, and they go through a whole big thing where they are stuck together, and then at one point Roger Rabbit is just able to like slip out of the handcuffs and walk over and like I'm not doing it justice by describing it, but the main character gets mad at me. So you mean you could have broken out of the handcuffs at any time? And he's like, no, not any time, only when it was funny.
The rule of funny.
The rule of funny, right? And it's interesting to mention, so like this is cartoons and it's kind of a cop-out. Scooby-Doo are cartoon characters, so they follow cartoon physics, but live action characters in movies and television can also do this. If you look at examples of like slapstick comedy in like Home Alone or the Ernest movies, and the Three Stooges were essentially living cartoon characters. So that's my really forced answer to this question.
I actually wanted to go down basically the exact opposite route.
Oh, okay.
I found there's a TV tropes page called Scooby Doo Hoax. And TV tropes, most of their tropes at the bottom have a subsection for just real life, times that things have happened in real life that are TV tropes. And so the Scooby Doo Hoax page is the, person trying to scare people away to do something. And there is a relatively extensive list of real life examples of this happening. One of I'm going to go through just a couple of these here because the list is long and some of them are pretty involved. But one of the ones that I really liked was there was a hotel I think it was in Britain. There was a hotel in Britain that they called in a ghost hunter to look for a ghost in their hotel. And this ghost hunter went through and it says they spent a month looking for a ghost and they just found nothing. There was no ghost. There was nothing going on. And the hotel owner was like, please, can you invent a ghost? Because he wanted to advertise his business as a haunted hotel. And then I guess later on, this ghost hunter found an advertisement for the hotel that was the advertisement said, having repeatedly been investigated by psychic detectives and ghost hunters, which is not technically a lie. So that's a really good one. Somebody was planting fake Bigfoot footprints to try to scare away vandals that were messing with work vehicles at this logging site. That's another really good one here.
Just like the Bigfoot's footprint on a stick. And
yes. Well, I don't know, but
that's a Bugs Bunny thing, I think.
Oh, interesting. It has been suggested that the legendary Snallygaster of Maryland was invented by bootleggers to scare away trespassers.
Oh.
Cattle rustlers will attach speakers and lights to their trucks to imitate UFOs to scare away ranchers who come snooping around.
Okay.
Actually, in a very similar vein, I guess that's sort of like Area 51. Everyone's like, oh, it's UFOs. I mean, it's secret government airplanes, and they would rather you think it's UFOs, so you don't think about it too hard. Because if everyone was like, oh, it's an SR-71 Blackbird before they revealed it, they'd be like, oh, wait, that's bad. We don't want them to know we have an SR-71 Blackbird.
Yeah.
But if they think it's a UFO, then all is good. Let's see. I'm just going to see if there's any other really funny ones in here. This one might not be true, but I do want to read it anyway. It has been reported that the British Navy used Loch Ness to conduct secret submersible tests, knowing that if there was a sighting of something unusual in the lake, it would likely be attributed to the monster.
I mean, that's smart.
That's very good. I love that.
I could see that happening.
Oh, what? No. For real? This is amazing. Hold on. Investigator Ivan T. Sanderson claimed to have uncovered evidence that the 1909 Jersey Devil Scare was orchestrated by real estate developers to trick scared locals into selling their rural properties for a cheap price. That is such a Scooby Doo episode.
Is a Scooby-Doo.
That is.
Sure is.
Holy cow.
I've got an idea for my live adaptation of Scooby Doo that I'm going to put on stage.
A lot of these are cryptid related, which is kind of amazing. I love this.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of Scooby Doo are basically they're posing as something
True.
like that.
I mean, werewolves and there was a couple Yetis and Bigfoots and stuff. And
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that's an example of a gag that I think is applicable to real life.
Applicable to real life. I wanted to mention one that is two that are plausible, and these maybe aren't the most extreme example of big set pieces or anything, but Scooby-Doo often does the double take, which is when you notice something and doesn't register, and then you look again. That's a thing that just happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then a running gag, Velma losing her glasses.
Oh yeah.
Now my eyesight is not bad enough that if I take my glasses off, I'm really in danger of losing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure if you see lots of blurriness, it might be really difficult to find your glasses. So that's plausible.
I've known a couple people that are pretty much Velma with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyesight is so bad they can't see their hands.
I think I know a few.
Yeah, and it's just concerning when I think about the times I've let them drive a car with me in it.
If they're wearing
Totally fair.
glasses, it's so the last one that I wanted to mention that is not, in my opinion, not plausible at all. There are a lot of times in Scooby Doo when Scooby disguises himself as a person. And I don't see anyone mistaking a Great Dane for an old lady.
Okay. Maybe they're in the Velma situation. They lost their glasses.
Yeah, Velma, you can't tell that it's a dog.
So another thought occurs to me that kind of ties the previous question to this one is what can Scooby taste? Like, what are his taste buds like? Does he like pizza with peanut butter and clams? Obviously he likes the sandwiches that Shaggy eats.
Yeah.
Right.
But does he like them because they taste good or because he likes messing with Shaggy?
Well, I mean,
fair.
I know that they've eaten some pretty outlandish things. Like, I remember them putting, like, chocolate sauce on, like, a hoagie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It tends to be whatever's in the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, an interesting point about that, Scooby being a dog, dogs are evolutionarily scavengers, and so they're kind of omnivorous.
Mm-hmm.
But more of their diet is meat than, I would say, than vegetables. But the voice actor who played Shaggy, whose name I should know but can't think of right now.
Casey Kasem.
Yeah, Casey Kasem, pretty famously at one point said that because he was a vegetarian, for like moral reasons, he wanted Shaggy to be a vegetarian. So at one point there was a decision made. I think they've broken that tradition now, but like for a very long time, any incarnation of Shaggy, he wouldn't eat meat. Mm-hmm. So whenever he was building these giant sandwiches, it was all vegetarian friendly stuff. And so like, I think if Scooby is stealing those sandwiches from him, he's eating vegetarian sandwiches.
True.
Which dogs will do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I gotta wonder what's in Scooby snacks.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because the other thing I was thinking about is just like dogs eat people food pretty much all the time. Like people are always, or they're begging for table scraps and things like that. But there are a few times where I think Scooby has eaten something that would very likely kill a dog. Like,
well, you mentioned chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if Scooby's ever eaten grapes, but I feel like he'd had to have eaten grapes at least once.
At least one raisin.
At least.
Oh, true. Well, the reason I was thinking maybe grapes is because I feel like there was at least an episode where he was like sitting on a hedonism bot couch, whatever that's called, and just like putting the ancient Roman like putting a grape in your mouth thing.
Pretty sure that's the technical term for those kinds of couches.
Yes, correct.
But wait, then what's a Shea Lounge?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before.
Never heard of that. That's a made up thing, Jonathan. Yeah, so I don't know. Scooby Doo was also made at a time, or Scooby Doo Where Are You specifically, I guess, was made at a time when a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons were kind of trying to emulate live action like sitcoms and stuff.
True. Yeah.
So there is a lot, like it is more grounded in reality a lot of the time than you would think. And then they do the big set pieces with the musical montages that are just wacky.
Yeah. And they fly a washing machine with an ironing board as wings. That was so. I when I was looking at that list of episodes to be like, okay, what episodes are like, a little more grounded or whatever. And the one I'm referring to specifically, I think it's called Saturday Night's All Right for a Fright. Has these two green giggling ghosts, and they have to like stay in a house for the night, and they win $1 million or whatever it is. But I was like, oh, that one seems kind of grounded. And then as I was like thinking about the plot summary and like going through the plot summary, it's like almost none of this is grounded. It was kind of impressive how quickly I reversed course on that one, but I do love that episode though. It's quite funny. And then at the end, he wins the $1 million, but it's all in Confederate money, so it's worthless.
Oh, man.
Although I think now you would look back on that and be like, this is probably worth quite a lot
It's
of money as like a
probably.
collector's piece.
Yeah. You could just take it to a pawn shop.
Yeah.
Like a good pawn shop.
Best I'll offer is $5.
Right?
This is a $1 bill, sir. Well, I feel like Jonathan already covered my my sign off question here, but how listeners, how do you think that the Scooby Doo gang would fare on a diet of all pizza and soda pop? And
I mean, I think Shaggy would be fine.
Shaggy would
Shaggy would be thrilled.
Yeah.
That's true.
Scooby would probably get more nutrients.
There
Yeah.
was an episode where I don't know. I think it was Shaggy. I don't know if it was Shaggy or Scooby at this point, but they like put the pizza on their finger and spun it like a frisbee, and then he just like ate it like a almost like a typewriter. He just like bit closer and closer and closer till the pizza was just gone.
Yep, I do remember that one.
I want some pizza now.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay, I'm gonna go make dough and have pizza tomorrow.
So Jim, do we have any listener mail this week?
We do. And as always, if you want to send us listener mail, you can email us at feedback@vaguelyscientific.com. You can comment on our blog. You can like us on Facebook. You can tweet at vaguelysci. And this email comes to us from Fishkeeper. It's actually a blog post, but whatever. And it's in regards to episode 112, Santa's Flaming Zeppelin. And Fishkeeper sent to us, there are bioluminescent fungi. Those don't bother me. But glowfish, check out the big box pet stores, are genetically modified to glow. This seems wrong to me. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on glowing fish?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Genetically modified things, they're that way from birth, right?
Yeah.
So we had glow in the dark cats.
So I think I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Because I think glow-in-the-dark fish are fine enough. Like, I don't know that I would go out of my way to own one because I think that it would be weird to see in my house.
Sure.
But I think glow-in-the-dark cats are incorrect.
I think they're incorrect. I want to know, and I guess this is Googleable, but I want to know if those cats were, like, healthy. Because
I mean, as far as I know, they are. It's a gene that comes from another animal. I don't remember which animal that is bioluminescent, but it just makes them fluorescent. I now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember if the cats glow in the dark or if they are like fluorescent if you shine a black light on them.
I think it's the latter, if I recall correctly.
That's worth looking into, but I still find that more unsettling. Maybe it's just because cats are like higher up on the list of animals of smartness.
It would hurt their ability to hunt.
Though I will say having glow-in-the-dark cats or bioluminescent cats or even UV reactive cats would really help me not trip at night more often. As an owner of 2 black cats, they are under my feet way too often.
Yeah, I know that sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Just sleeping in the middle of the hallway.
And then I'm the villain because they were sleeping in the middle of the hallway when they have anywhere else to sleep.
How dare you?
Well, thank you very much for that email, and if you have a question that needs to be answered in a vaguely scientific manner, please email us at questions@vaguelyscientific.com. If you want to get our episodes the minute that they're released, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all the other great places that cool podcasts like to hang out. And don't forget, subscribing and leaving feedback really helps us out, and so does telling your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends, and we talked about Scooby Doo and Ninja Turtles, so that,
Those are 2 popular things.
I think so. I mean, the things I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm usually out of touch, but I think those are popular.
I think so. They're at least popular with our generation.
Scooby-Doo and Turtles are popular, right?
Yeah.
No, must be
Yeah.
the kids that are out of touch.
Yeah. Actually, so when I went into my son's daycare the one day, they were watching an old episode of Scooby Doo, Where Are You?
Nice.
It was the one
Nice.
where they crashed on the island and it was like a transparent white ghost. It was like a default white sheet ghost.
The
Nice.
white sheet ghost, yeah.
Yeah. But so the kids are watching Scooby. It's all good.
Okay.
Good. And the good Scooby, too.
Yeah. Our vaguely musical intro was composed by Anthony Pizzelli. And don't forget to check out our merch store over at vaguelyscientific.threadless.com. It helps to support us, and you get cool stuff that you can show off.
Merch.
Yeah.
Merch.
You can't get a cool Vaguely Scientific mug on Amazon.com, I'll tell you that much.
I mean, if you can, let us know, because somebody owes
they've
us money.
stolen it.
Yes, yeah, that is definitely let us know.
Yeah, if you ever see any of our merch on Amazon, please let us know immediately, because it should not be there.
Because it shouldn't be there. So thank you to Jonathan for being our guest this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm always happy to be here. It's always fun.
Yay! For Vaguely Scientific, I am Derek.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Jonathan.
Your call will be transferred now.
Toodaloo, everyone.
Bye.
Oh,
Where's it being transferred?
I don't know. It's just a tie-in to the
Aruba.
beginning.
Jamaica.
Ooh, I want
wanna
to take you
to your car's extended warranty.
Nice.
All right.